Hi guys, and welcome to some PlayStation 4 coverage of TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge. Going to be taking part in a race here, so we're going to quickly look at the options then, just to see what, show you guys what different styles are available. Of course, ranging from amateur all the way up to the hardest settings there, semi-pro, pro, and simulation. I'm going to be opting instead though for the custom setting, which allows me to change, tweak the setting as I wish. In this case, I'm going to be looking at automatic gearing rather than manual, and the difficulty we're going to be choosing expert. So this is the Milford Street Circuit, one of 9 fictional tracks which feature in this game. This is based in Wales. So away we go. A little wheelie there. If you do play with no assist on, if you actually start by revving fully on the throttle, you will pull a massive wheelie and actually come off the bike. So it's all about finding a balance. So you see the little wheelie there. So it is, they really do come to life, these bikes, when you do have the assist turned off. So it's all about, oh look at that, the rider goes flying off there. So, if you want a more accessible game, you can of course have the assist on, and it's, largely very accessible. And of course, if you want something a little bit more seat of the pants, of course you take those assists off. And I must say, this is a very difficult game to get to grips with once you have turned the assists off. So make a little bit of contact there with the AI rider. You can see again the bike doing a little wheelie. So it really is about being as smooth as you possibly can, not only with the throttle and the brakes, but also with your steering inputs, because if you do go into a turn, if you lean too much into a turn, the chances are you're going to come off, you're going to lose the rear, and it's very, very hard then to catch it. But it is possible. It will take a bit of practice. So coming up to the end of the first lap, then we're going to be taking part in a 5-lap race here, so we do have quite a bit of time to go. We are on board Bruce Anstey's Honda 600. So very short laps these, just 2.5 kilometres. And this is the morning setting, which gives you that nice sort of vibrant sunshine, which I find makes this game probably look at its best. You do get other very overcast skies, but the game just looks a little bit more dull to me, and it doesn't quite look as vibrant as what you're seeing here. So perhaps this is not the best track to show off the sense of speed, but we will have some more videos coming up from the first person viewpoint, which do show just how incredible the sense of speed is in this game. And of course, not only do you get the visual sense of speed, but you get it with the wind noise as well. So you're best to play this game with headphones on and stick it up very loud, and then you will get that sort of extreme wind noise when you sort of go past about 150 to about 160 miles per hour. It really does sort of take over and out volume the sound of the bike as well. So it is pretty thrilling stuff as we come over near the line to start the 3rd lap. So very short laps, you're only looking at 2.5 kilometres per lap, so you're looking at just over the 1 minute mark per lap. And this is the hardest difficulty. Of course, I have played games before prior to release where we have seen difficulties being adjusted, so you can take this with a pinch of salt. This is basically a preview, so it could well change, but for now I would say that perhaps on the highest setting I would like to see it a little bit harder. So I did feel it was a little bit too easy to be at the front of the pack in this difficulty, so perhaps they could do with 1 or 2 notches harder, I guess, for the more experienced players. Very tight turn this. So let's talk a little bit more about what I'm doing. So here I'm just sort of controlling the throttle. I don't mind doing a little wheelie or 2, it's all good fun. Here, so I make a little bit of contact with the curbs. Curbs, really hit and miss. You can, a bit of a lottery, you can hit a curb and get away with it. At other times you'll hit a curb and you go flying off the bike. Sometimes you can hit a curb and ride the curb slightly and get away with it, but it all depends on, I guess, the angle and the speed at which you do hit the curbs. Getting very close to that tyre wall on the right there, so I have crashed into that many times, let me tell you. This did take quite a few restarts to get a nice clean race, because it is very tough. We do actually have a video coming up which highlights just how tough it is with the assists off. Sweeping left hand, it seems to go on forever, doesn't it? Get the power down now, and you're looking for this braking point as you continue left. Just keeping a little bit of throttle on here, and again here this tightens, so it's about being patient with the throttle, and then you can unleash it on the exit. Now looking for my braking point here, which I use the rocks on the right hand side, second bunch of rocks on the brakes then, and you can get pretty close to this curve. On this occasion I didn't get very close, but you can cut very fine, very close to those curbs, and it is very satisfying when you miss them just by a matter of inches. That's when you know you've really nailed it. And it is really addictive stuff. So here you're coming off and then back on the throttle very slightly, because it is very, very easy to lose the rear wheel. And again, a little wheelie or two. So on the brakes, again, very tight turn this, so you want to really get the bike in before you unleash its power. So a massive wheelie there, almost coming off actually. You can't go much higher than that without falling off. One thing I do note actually is you can adjust the rider weight forward and back, which I'm not actually doing on this race, but it is controlled with the left analog stick. So I imagine it'd be pretty difficult to actually control the turning of the bikes and the weight at the same time, but no doubt experienced players will be able to do it no problem. So taking the lead now, last lap of the race, and again looking for those second set of rocks there before I hit the brakes, and just cutting a little bit closer there to the curbs before hitting the brakes here again, really getting the bike in, really tight stuff. And again the bike wants to wheelie, struggling to get that power down, coming off the throttle here, a little bit back on just to keep the bike stable through the turn. And then a really tight turn here, so you've got to be very patient in some turns. Like I said, it's not the best track to show off the sense of speed, but we will have some onboards looking at the full mountain course, which has a terrific sense of speed. So we're going to come across the line any second now. We're going to be checking out the replay. So here we are then with the replay. Now you can have a number of options with the replay. You can follow the action from the in-race cameras, so you've got the chase cam, you've got the first person cam, etc. But here I've actually opted for the sort of mixed camera, so you have various onboard shots, you have TV style shots as well, so it's just like a nice mix. It's a shame that you can't actually stick with one particular onboard, which would have been nice to see, but we have a mix here. Just gives you a nice sort of look at the action from different viewpoints. See the various crowds there cheering you on. It's still a little bit static for my liking, but you do get some cheering and waving and stuff, so that's okay, I guess. It's all about the look at the road though. You're so focused on the action that you don't really take in much of the surroundings, as good as they do look, in terms of the foliage, which we keep going on about. Some very nice sunlight effects as well, but you're very much focused on the action in front of you, so it's not like you've got time to take in the sights. Particularly when you have the assists off, it really is a challenge. So a nice look at the environments here. Got some sort of a dock environment for the shipping containers, which I thought was interesting. It's a nice circuit to really get into a nice flow with, I find, and I guess it highlights the sort of the bike behaviour more so with this sort of tight and twisty circuits rather than more sort of flat out circuits. I thought this would be a good circuit to showcase the various movements in the bike with the assists off. So making an overtake there then. Nice rear view action there. So do let us know in the comments what you would like to see from our preview footage, and of course we'll do our best to cover that. I do have a few questions which we will be looking to answer in future videos. So we should have a video up very shortly looking at the different assists and different sort of preset handling modes. So you've got your Pro, Semi-Pro, etc. And that just highlights the difference in bike behaviour, and it just goes to show just how difficult it is sometimes to keep these bikes on the grey stuff. You really do have to be smooth with your accelerating, your braking, and particularly your turning as well. It's not one of those games that you can immediately pick up with no assists and really sort of go for it. So it does take some time to learn the sort of nuances of the bike's handling. And sometimes you'll go over a bump and you'll fall off the bike and you'll wonder why, but it's all down to track knowledge, knowing when to take it easy, where the bumps are, which are not immediately obvious. Some bumps you just can't see until it's too late basically, whereas other bumps are very obvious, and you slow down because you think you've got a low enough speed to get over that bump, and then you realise that you need to get the speed even lower because you just go flying over the bump. So it is pretty intense stuff. You really will need to learn the tracks. This particular track I find is pretty flat, so there wasn't any bumps that I needed to worry about, so it was a nice sort of flowing track that I could really sort of attack and get aggressive with, albeit still being somewhat progressive with my inputs, because after all there's no assists on, so it's It's pretty tough. It's a good sense of speed in some of these shots. You come around the first turn then. So it gets a good speed up through that first turn, then you sort of have to come off a bit and then back on again as it gets to the exit there. I'm just catching the lead rider now, just sort of reeling him in, slowly but surely. So some nice action shots here. Now if you do want to see a no commentary version of this video, you can on the Team VVV Games channel, so do check that out. So again, just closing on the lead rider now. And it can be difficult to pass the AI. You really do have to sort of pick your spots because, you know, it's easy to run into the back of them, and of course the AI are not shy about running into the back of you either. So you know, you have to be wary at all times where the AI riders are. Of course, you don't have to do any of this if you want to just take on a TT with these sort of traditional TT starts with staggered starts. So it really is up to you what you want to do with this game. Personally, I like to have a mix, so I will be playing the fictional tracks as well as the main circuit, but it will take some time to learn the full circuit. I guess the beauty of this game is you can actually tell the game which sections of the main track you want to race, so you can actually break it down into 12 sections. So if you really want to, you can race, you know, get used to the first section, second, third, fourth, all the way up into 12, and then perhaps you can do maybe the first 3 sections and then the second 3 sections, etc. So you can really sort of break the track down. You know, if you've got any weak areas, you could just retry that over and over. So it really is about building up the confidence and the knowledge in the track, so you can get round to finishing the track as a whole, which is a very challenging proposition. I have tried my first attempt around the full circuits and I crashed 10 times with a track time of 20 minutes and 55 seconds. So I could probably, for me personally, I'd probably aim for a sub 20. That would be excellent to get. So that was it for a look at the PlayStation 4 version of Isle of Man TT. We'll have more videos coming up on the game very shortly. Thanks for watching.
Well, how do you like it?
Makes me feel